let's play ball, and that means let's start whatever we're going to do. Let's play ball. Let's
Play football.
Okay, football. All right.
Maybe they go.
Okay, so Larissa, what is a home run? What is a home run?
Home run. It's the baseball idioms. Dictionary speaks us. This is a point in baseball. When a player hits the ball that runs around all the four bases.
All four bases.
All the four bases. I think that is the moving around.
Right.
Around moving.
Yeah.
Ring moving.
Yeah. When you hit the ball in baseball, a home run is the very best hit. It's the very best hit. And you're right. The player runs around all four bases and scores what's called a run. Point off is called a run in baseball. This and a home run means that the
point of one
not cannot get the ball, and he gets a home run. And that's what it means in baseball and in life in general. A home run is something that you do very well. Oh, I just hit a home run. You know,
I gave a fabulous speech.
Yeah, I gave a fabulous speech. How did you do? Oh, I hit a home run. I hit a home run. I hit a home run. Get to first base. How about get to first base?
It's to first base. It's that have to return at the beginning. To the beginning.
To the beginning. Okay. This also means to hit the ball, but not with all of the drama and success of a home run. But you get to the first base. There are four bases: first, second base, third base, and home plate. And you get to first base. It's a hit, and you base and maybe you'll score a run, or maybe not. Now, what do you think, Larissa, that means in everyday speech? In every and yes. Okay, all right. It's hard to get to first base. Means that you have some initial success at something. And I'll tell you, as often as not, what's to do with is dating, like going on a date between a man and a woman. And they say, well, how was your date last night? How was it? Did you meet that woman? Yeah, it was great, and I got to first base. That means that probably he got to kiss her or something like that.
In general, you might say, if it says, "Oh, he got to first base," it can also mean without any sexual innuendo, he's off to a good start.
All right, everybody follow that? We have Grandson, Grandson.
Well, I don't know what Grand Slam in baseball is, but I know in tennis Grand Slam is name of four tournament.
Mm-hmm.
In tennis, we have for tournament Australian Open, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, and US Open.
Mm-hmm.
And for tournament have one name Grand Slam.
That's,
And
that's,
I think in baseball it maybe it's win Grand Slam is prize.
all right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's very good. That's very good, and you're right about tennis. I would guess that tennis got its expression from baseball. But Tatiana, let me ask you a question. Confining yourself to what you know about tennis, about the four big matches, and you know this word Grand Slam. If said to me, "How was your day?" I would say, "Oh, honey, I hit Grand Slam today." What do you think I would mean when what do you think?
It was a good day.
Very good day. Very good day. That's a terrific. You get a Grand Slam in baseball. You hit a home run. And there are runners on three bases. When you hit a Grand Slam, you score 4 runs. It's the best hit that you can ever hit in baseball. Grand Slam home run. And it means, as you said, to have a very good day, to do things very well, and kind of like the 4 tennis matches, it happens very often. It's very rare event, right? Good, very nice. How about 3 strikes? Strike 3.
It's rule in baseball. Same of rules in baseball. Strike 3.
Oh, strike 3. Strike
It's
3.
all.
Strike 3. You're out. You're 3 strikes. And you get 3 chances to hit the ball. If you don't hit a ball that you should have hit 3 times, you're out. The batter is out. The batter and we say this in many different contexts. You kids, okay, I'm giving you 3 chances to do what I tell you. Number 1, strike 3. Strike 3, you're out. You get a punishment or something like that. 3 strikes. Strike 3, you're out.
And this is go ahead.
That's okay?
It's bad.
It's
The
bad.
strike. It's very bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very bad.
And it's also a part of our legal system. We have it's called the 3 strikes law. And so if a criminal is convicted of a serious crime, let's apply. It's certain time, and then he's caught commit second felony, then it starts to get serious, and he tries not to get caught a third time, because if you're convicted of a serious crime, then you're in prison for life. And that's law. of society.
3 strikes. 3 strikes. Good. Oksana Rodina, how about batting 1,000?
Maybe sales of sports equipment for baseball. In Russian, it's called distance, and the number of 1,000 is of
Good. Your sound is kind of rough somehow today, but I get the point. Batting 1,000 is what is doing very, very well at something. In baseball, who keeps statistics about baseball, no, this is called the batting average, and the batting average means every time you're up to hit a ball, hit it or not, and if you hit it every single time, the ratio is 1. In baseball, they call that 1,000. It's considered very, very good if you have a batting average of 200 or 350, that you hit the ball 1 time out of 3. 1 time out of 3. And that's considered very, very good. Very good. To do something successfully every time, batting 1,000. And no one bats 1,000 ever in ball. Or do they, Professor Marston? Okay, that's good. Oksana, how about in the ballpark?
I think it is a sport. Then it's many people. For example, for a game of baseball.
And so let me ask you, what's a ballpark? Ballpark. A ballpark. Anyone? What's a ballpark? What's a park? Is a stadium. Is the stadium where they play baseball? Oh, it's a stadium, and it's big. You know, I don't know how big it is, but you say this. You talk about approximating something or making a guess. You say, "Oh, it's in the ballpark." That means it's somewhere in there, somewhere in the ballpark. Approximate. It's near. It's not very precise. This is favorable. Your answer is in the ballpark, which means it's close and close enough. Okay, where are we? Olga, good morning to you. Bush League.
Bush League is a small group or organization of non-professionals.
Nationals, good. Non-professionals. And in contrast, you have the leagues.
Big leagues.
What's the big leagues?
It's an elite. It's people who are on top on some kind of activity or in some profession.
Exactly right. Big leagues in baseball are the major leagues. Major leagues. There are about 40 teams in the country in the big leagues. Bush League is either amateurs or some they're called the farm teams, the farm club. It's non-professional or it's entry level or something like that. You're a teacher, yes? Yourself a Bush League teacher or a big league teacher?
I think I'm a Bush League now.
A Bush League teacher?
Yes.
Any big league teachers?
Yes, my colleagues, Tatiana Lapina and Oksana Borodina.
well, I think they would probably say the same thing about you. A big leap teacher. Is that, ladies? Tatiana? Oksana?
It's idea.
You're a diplomat, Tatiana. Very good. Very good. Okay, very nice. Oksana, what does it mean to play hardball?
Actually, I'm not sure that I know the idiom, but I suppose that if we speak about baseball, it means when the player hits hard or any other situation, not sport situation. It means when anybody has success or acts effectively. I suppose
It's good. It's good. No, it means to be very serious about something. Something very, very seriously, and no passion, no generosity. Hardball. Play hardball.
okay.
There are two kinds of baseball. There's hardball, which is major leaguers play, and there's softball. And the softball, in baseball, the ball is about this big, you see. And in softball, it's bigger and it's softer, and it doesn't go very far. When women baseball, they usually play softball. Play softball, not hardball.
And sometimes we're told that women have a larger softer ball because there's a weaker sex. I think it's because it's so tough and serious that it'd be dangerous if they played hardball.
I got that for a minute, Professor. I got that for a minute. I've known several women who played hardball in life. Okay,
You're a diplomat too.
I am. A heavy hitter. What's heavy hitter?
I think it can play hardball, I suppose, because I think the plan for act the professional and the
I would say that. Let me add. That's a good definition. Someone who does something with great effect and with great success. Now, let's see. What can we say? Who would you say was a heavy hitter? Was Yeltsin a heavy hitter, or was Putin a heavy hitter? Putin or Putin? Which one was the heavy hitter?
Influence, politics or business.
Yeah. Putin.
is it to politics or is it using economics or social business and so on?
Right. Hitter. Okay, see, we're down to Marina. What does it mean to pinch hit?
To hit in baseball means to bat in place of a player scheduled to bat, especially when a hit is badly needed.
Right.
As I understand, it means to do something so someone because suddenly unable to do it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Exactly right. Here's trouble with my car. I can't get to work in time. Can you pinch hit for me? I'll be happy to do that. And how about in left field?
I found only put in left field.
To be out of field. Okay, yeah, that's good.
Yes, the same. To be out in left field, several means. I found several means. the first of to completely wrong, to be very strange or very different from other people or things, and the third mean to be out in left field is not to know what's going on.
Exactly right. You're exactly right. And in baseball, in the ballpark, in the stadium, we have infield, which is close to the batter, and the outfield is far away. And the outfield is divided into parts: right field, center field, and left field. And because most baseball players are right-handed, most of the hits go right field or second field. And field is a place where there's not much action. There's not if you're in left field, you're just out there waiting, not connected with the rest of the action. Out in left field. Left field is where I find myself often in life, out in left field. I often have no idea what's going on, but I have a good time watching them. How about ball? Anyone? I didn't assign this, but does anyone know what a curveball is? What's a curve? I started suddenly speaking in Korean and giving you all my instructions today in Korean. You would, oh, he throws a curveball. That means we have no idea what's going on. A curveball is a kind of pitch that curves, and you don't know where it doesn't go where you thought it was going to go. Is that enough, Professor Weston? What do you think?
Yes, and I have a real life example, which was a difficult moment for me and my students. When I was in graduate school, and I was taking courses and teaching courses, and I came to my late afternoon French class one day, having just come out of a Spanish class, a graduate class in Spanish I was taking. Just before I went into the class, one of my students, who was a native speaker of Spanish, asked me a question in Spanish, and we started a short discussion. Then we went into the classroom because it was time to start. And I asked the first question of the person I had just been talking to, and asked it in Spanish. And first year French class horrified because I'd thrown them a curveball. And I didn't even realize it until I saw them. They were horrified because I thought they were good students, they worked hard, and then suddenly they couldn't understand anything I said to them. So I have to apologize for throwing them a curveball.
We gave you an opportunity for a ball game.
And a whole new ball game. And the first rule of that whole new ball game was never speaking by the language you are teaching outside the class. And things got better.
A blue ball game. A blue ball game means that you're starting with a clean slate. Every threat is a whole new ball game. Well, maybe we lost yesterday, but today is a whole new ball game. Maybe trouble with my car yesterday, but today is a whole new ball game. It's a whole new ball game. It's
Completely different situation.
Different situation. Exactly. Right. Okay, very nicely done. Well done, and I hope that found that instructive about baseball and about American colloquialisms speech, and I'll tell you, this very short list. Marston could a list as long as this one. Other idioms that have to do with baseball. Nice, good. Let's talk about. Go from idioms. Let's talk serious. About something more serious. Let's talk literature and how we look at literature. And I would like you to do the same thing. I hope all of you had a chance to read the template that was online. It's fairly long, but it's good, and it's the kind of thing that they use in many different contexts. And we'll do exactly as we did. Trying Lapina. How about you? When we back, you tell us about form. But I have to write this down, otherwise I'll forget. Lapina, form, and Larissa, how about verisimilitude? Rodina, tell us about characters and conflict. Those two go nicely together. You do these two. Point of view and some language, and Marina, time and duration. Okay, 8 items. And together we'll talk about these things up top. We'll talk about it up top. When we talk about a piece of literature, a piece of literature, story or poetry or essay or something, something that's narrative in some form. And we talk about form. What do we mean when we say form? What does that mean? What's the form of something? What's the Tatiana?
Fantasy, novel.
Well, that would be genre. That would be genre. Here we're talking about structure, about a structural thing, like a piece of poetry, like it into stanzas.
Wow.
And you look at a piece of at a poem, you get stanzas. When you look at a novel, what do you look at? How is the novel divided?
Poem.
I divide a novel.
Novel. I don't.
Well, okay, I'm going to help you. You do it into chapters or paragraphs, huh? Well, surely. I was talking about the mechanics of putting words on paper, and not a formal division, stanzas or paragraphs, chapters, or that kind of thing. Well, maybe the text divides in terms of themes. Maybe the theme changes as it moves along. What I'm asking is, well, it'll be more clear when we look at a couple of examples later in the lesson. Okay. So what is verisimilitude?
Is a realistic or fantastic situation and characters in the poems and in the text. It is how situation development, how situations development in the text, and how we think about this situation. Think that this situation is realistic or it is fantastic, and what is the hero's case of text.
Mm-hmm.
The characters is the same of realistic persons, or they are not realistic persons and another.
Mm-hmm.
And
What this means is this plausible? Could what's happening in the story? Could this happen in real life? Is this real or is it artificial?
Unreal fiction. Fiction.
Is it believable? Could you well the story and could you go out into the real world this afternoon and observe something similar to that?
Can believe that this situation is realistic in our life.
Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's a big word for a simple idea. Verisimilitude. And I'll tell you, the only time in my life that I ever use that word is I teach about literature, adolescent literature, verisimilitude.
It's an important concept.
It's an important concept. Sana Varodina. So you're going to talk about characters and conflict. And when we look at the characters in a work, in literary work.
Characters are people or no, it's a hero of article of story. When like who is dominate in the art.
Okay. Who's the principal character? Minor characters. Who are the minor characters? Yeah. Now this is what I like best. Is conflict. The conflict. What kind of conflicts do we have, Oksana, in the story?
How person in article is Tom was very lady. Maria is very very high. It's comment about article.
And there can conflict between characters in the story. There can be conflict between and society. Sometimes interesting conflicts are internal conflicts. Conflicts. What do you got? What is point of view? What is second? What is point of view?
Point of view describes a person who tells us the story. It may be the main characters, the minor characters, or a person who is not involved in the story.
That person, we call that person a narrator. A narrator.
Yes.
Narrator. The narrator tells a story. And do you think it's important? What is the importance of point of view or perspective? Point of view. Would you rather read a story that seems to be autobiographical, or story that appears to be kind of cinematic in style, where you're kind of watching what's going on, being an observer to these things? Which would you find more interesting, do you think?
Graphic story.
Graphic, first person account. And what is this refer to?
It describes a place and the time when the event happened.
When something happens. Where it takes place. And when you look at settings, when we look at setting, with work, you have to consider whether it takes place in one setting or in many settings or in different settings.
And this setting can have an important part of a narrative. And so you have to think about, why are they here? Why is it important to the story? Because sometimes it might indicate a mood. If it might tell you something about the season. So if it's outside and it's snowing, it's not July normally. It might be important to the story and to the mood. Dark and drizzly, then outside, and that's part of the setting, but it may also reflect the mood of characters. It's useful to pay attention to what we'd normally think of as the background.
Which, Oksana,
Okay.
what are we talking about?
I suppose it's the main component in the work because, as one of the researchers, language is a tool of power. It influences the reader, and it may work in different directions. For example, language helps authors to construct characters of his head. Then it to express his idea of the reader. And language has the aesthetic function.
Mm-hmm.
It has a specific language, English play, and they have satisfaction from this aesthetic function.
Mm-hmm. If you read a short story and you found that short story was full of idioms related to baseball, if there were 20 occasions in this very short story of idioms related to baseball, what would that tell? What might you conclude from that? How would language contribute to your understanding?
They determine they with the code. Some group has a language, for example, jargon or slangs, and we have some problems with interpretation.
Excellent. That's a good word to introduce, the code. The code in the language. Very good point. Thank you. Very, very nice. Right. Let's see, where are we? Marina. Tone. Talking about tone.
Oh,
Talking about tone.
at the time it's my thing.
Oh, well, who had tone? Was it you?
Maybe it's mine.
Well, let's go ahead and do tone.
Well,
What about
tone is
tone?
a very special characteristic of the voice because it implies author position, for example. If the ironic tone with the fit or this fifth tone, you could feel it too.
Good for you. Okay. Time and duration, Marina.
I think maybe 3 ways of working with time in text. Author can follow the action at each moment in real time, like reporter in mass media. Author can use flashbacks, or author can focus time.
Shorten or extend. Yeah.
I like when different variants of this.
But it's quite often the case where a series of events will be where time is repeated, and I mean by that, like if there's an event in which 2 people participate, get one person's understanding of the event and the other person's understanding of the event, but it's the same moment of time, but split into 2 things. Good. Well, let's see if we can put this to work. But before we do, we have kind of 5 general characterizations of work, the central idea, the theme of a work. And these are not, there are no clear divisions between these. They blur. Psychological works and sociological works and philosophical works and didactic works and escapist works. Let's see. What's the story about? So when we talk about escapist works, Marina, what do we mean by that?
Escapes. Author tries to escape from real world.
Yeah, it's an escape. It's an escape. It's a diversion. It's meant to generate
From everyday life.
escape from everyday life. Excellent. Okay. Anyone? What's a didactic work? Didactic work.
This works with moral.
With a moral, okay. With a moral, it instructs. It teaches. It teaches. All of those Aesop fables, the Greek fables, those are all stories with a moral. They teach. They teach. How about a philosophical work? What's a philosophical work?
About life, ideas of life. To be.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. To be or not to be. We could stop right there. I think you understand what we're talking about. What's a sociological work?
So work. Social. About life in social
society. It's about life
in society.
Life in groups. It's about life in groups. Behavior of people in groups. It could be a family. It could be a classroom like ours. It could be a nation. And
One is more important than individual
Bravo. Okay. So that said, with psychological, it would characterize the work as psychological. What does that mean?
Logical feelings and motives.
We're talking about individuals. We're talking about the human condition, about psychological motives or our mind's work. Good. Super. Very nice. Okay. Well, let's look at two pieces of Russian literature. Two very famous pieces of Russian literature. And the first piece that I would like us to analyze, and we're going to do a formal analysis of this. Okay. Very famous is a work by the very famous, very great Russian Tolstoy, The Three Bears, Three Medvedya. Everyone read Three Medvedya?
Yes.
Bears? Yeah? You read The Three Bears? Okay, say the same people. What is the form of the story? What is the form of Three Bears? This text divide. Who's talking about form? Tatjana Lappin.
Is text without paragraphs or chapter? No chapters, yes. I have a book.
Ah, bravo. It's a very famous word. So, another way to look at form is to ask, is there movement in the work? Is the situation at the end of the story different from the situation at the beginning of the story? Comment on that. What about the situation at the beginning of the story, and what about the situation at the end? And you have the book, so you ought to know.
It's a real situation.
I don't. Well, just describe the situation. What is the situation at the beginning?
One little girl was in forest.
Yeah.
And she finds a house. It was house of three bears.
Okay, so that's the beginning. And what about at the end? What's the situation at the end of the story?
And she a good sentence for girl. She go away from beer.
From house. It would seem it's just as you said at the beginning. There's a girl in the forest and a house where three bears live, and at the end there's a girl in the forest, a house where three bears live, and the situation at the end looks pretty like the situation at the beginning.
In the wood.
In the woods. All right. Okay. Now where were we? Larissa, verilitude. What do we have here? Larissa.
About what?
About verisimilitude.
Could
you imagine this happening in real life?
No, it can be in real. But I think myself, what are the girl doing what is the girl doing in the forest?
Yeah.
And why little small girl lost his house and went to the forest. The beginning of the story and the end of the story. Girl Masha was fast and ran away, but
All right.
she runs away to the forest and alone. She's a small girl.
Okay.
But the three bears,
So
the family is the family.
This did not happen in real life, could it? No. We're talking. What about the characters? Oksana Borodina. We have. Who are the characters in this story? Character, and who are the minor characters?
My character is a small girl who go to she is
Nose.
yes is she wants to know about she in this house.
Four characters, yeah?
Very clever.
Four characters.
Another hero is
Yes.
father, mother, and son. Come back home. Back home. Then was sleep. And
I want to interrupt you. Now, you're the second person who said Masha. Now, the girl in this story, her name. She just not девочка.
One girl.
A certain girl. All right. So we have the characters, and they are described. We don't know much about the girl except that she's little. But the babes, we have a description of them. Okay, and the father bear, Papa Bear, and baby bear, and we know we have a description of it. We have descriptions of them. Names, how they look. Their names. Names. What's the father name? And the mother?
Настасья Петровна.
Да.
Настасья Петровна. Шутка.
Okay, good.
Father Bud is very strong, and Shutka is funny.
Right. And we also know about their voices. We also know about the voices of the characters. We know how to talk. we have this little baby bear squeaks and the mother quietly and father. Conflict in this? What's left here?
The conflict between George and Joel is
Here's the nature of the conflict.
Joel sitting on a chair and was eaten from food, and then he was sleeping on the first George bed, and the Mishlutka.
So the conflict is that
Very good. It is not very good for George. This conflict.
good.
Criminal person. Criminal person.
Criminal person. Good, thank you. Olga, what's the point of view? Who tells the story? Who's the
The story is told by the narrator.
narrator? Yeah, the story is told by the narrator. This is told by the narrator, and the narrator is what we call an omniscient narrator. The narrator knows everything. The knows everything, right? The knows about the girl and about the bears and all of that business. Of this story, where does this story take place?
Takes place in the forest, in the house of these bears.
Mm-hmm. And inside the house, does it? You say inside the house, but it moves inside the house, doesn't it? How does it move? How does it? It's in the forest. And she goes inside the house. What does she do inside the house?
She's there. She had broken the chair. She slept in the bed of the bears.
Mm-hmm. She moves to different rooms, and then finally she jumps out the window. She jumps out the window. All right, language and the tone. Language and the tone. Language. What's the language like here?
Language is specific because this tale addressed to small children about 2 or 3 years, and so it's very simple, very short sentences, and a lot of tale sentences. For example, who eats from my plate? Who is on my table? I suppose that this sentence as didactic task to show the young children how they have to communicate with their parents, to be active in their creation.
The other thing about the language is that it's full of diminutives. It's full of diminutives. She comes up to a Omsk and a Pandushka and Mishenka and all of these the diminutive words. And these are not adult words. We wouldn't see each other in class this way. That, as you said, this language meant for children. Okay, let's skip to the last one, Marina. What about time and duration? here?
The narrator of this story is observer who watch girl section, and in the beginning of story we can see flag when author talk about the rest of the house. Then author define each moment in real time. He describes every action of Masha and of girl and Beth.
Is one scene more important than the other? Which important scene?
Story we have culmination of history.
Yeah, we have the end of it jumps out the window.
When Beth returned in their home.
Anyone else?
I have something put in the chat. And it's a telling of this story that you might read in an American newspaper.
Okay. Oh, that's good.
Oh, can someone read this?
Russia destroyed their privacy.
And stole their food and broke their furniture.
It's good to read this in the newspaper. We have, let's move. Very well done, and that's done. And you're. I think we have a good understanding of how this works. Now, I have put up in the whiteboard this poem, Anna Akhmatova. We know how to say goodbye. We know how to say goodbye. And I would like first now, please, to do exactly the same thing with this poem, and to look at it exactly the way they looked at the three bears. So, Tachiki, of this, what's the structurally, what's the form of this work?
Yep.
Okay, and more than that.
Poem.
And how is the poem divided?
Quatrains. 12 lines.
Into stanzas. It's
Three stanzas.
Fairly
12
simple.
lines.
12 lines.
12 lines.
Look at the Russian. The original Russian, when Akhmatova wrote this, it rhymes. The English does not rhyme all the time, but the Russian has rhyme in it, and so that rhyme is preserved in English. So it's a fairly traditional poem. And in terms of verisimilitude, Lassa, could you imagine this occurring in real life?
Yes, this situation in this text is realistic situation. And the time of this, the grammatic time and the text time is a realistic time. It's very important. It's very important. But this, the situation in this text, not some details, but which is actually in our realistic life.
Okay.
Because the author acted and details is main details for the author, and the author is the narrator. Heroine is the narrator of this text.
Oh, we're beginning to talk about the characters. Good. Who are the characters here? In this.
I think here are two heroes, but one of which maybe I think this is a lot. They can together and I think has the same
Two man and a woman. Is there conflict? Is there conflict in this work?
Conflict. I don't know. Maybe they.
No conflict.
Into conflict? What do you mean by that?
I don't.
What kind of conflict? Is some internal conflict? Is there between two of them? What relationship between these two people?
It's
Hard
a very
relationship.
difficult relationship.
But are they brother and sister? Are they husband and wife? Are they lovers?
I think.
Lovers. Lovers. Not husband and wife. They're lovers. Well, they're lovers. And what is the conflict? How do you know, Marina, that there's conflict here? Go ahead.
What may I say? They cannot be together and cannot be alone.
Okay, they cannot get together. They cannot be alone. That's absolutely right. Absolutely right. Now, Olga, what's the point of view of this? What perspective are we talking about?
Told by a woman, by Anna Akhmatova herself, I think.
You've heard, huh?
Maybe.
Maybe. Okay. Maybe. All right. But we think that it's the woman in the story telling the story. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think so too. Yeah. And in the Russian, there's grammar tells you that. English you can't tell. But
You can tell.
you can.
Well, I can't read the Russian, and it's very clear to me that it's the one who's making observations about the men. I would point to other places. She says she's his shadow. She's his
there
shadow.
you go. Yeah.
In the final stanza, I have a time imagining a woman in the trampled snow with stick about the grand plans for the future. A man would do that, not a woman. Benefit of all the gender markers in Russian. Well, they're there, but they don't mean anything to me.
Then that's a good analysis. That's a good analysis. What is the setting here? Let's see. Who was talking about seeing? Oksana, was that you? Olga?
Yes.
Setting.
It was.
What's the setting here?
There are some places. It's a church, a graveyard. Maybe there can be another places, but in the poem there are two places that are mentioned.
Like, well, how about in the first one where we're wandering on shoulder to shoulder? Maybe they're on a road, and the church, and then the graveyard. So there are three different settings here. I think, and in terms of time, when is this story taking place? Morning, summer, winter?
Night.
Evening.
Sun's going down.
Sun's going down. Good.
Going down.
Sun is going down, and also is it?
It must be winter because she's telling about the snow.
They're concerned about the tone, right? And I wanted to ask also, what do you think? Just very the language of this. Who has discussion? Are you doing the language?
Because that language is very specific in this point, because the sense of this text is not with the goodbye this day. It deals with the other sense. We can't leave each other.
Mm-hmm.
It's not for one day. It's the sense more period, for long period. So why is not in the first sense of the article.
Right. Do you see this line? Do you see this? Let's step inside a church and watch baptisms, marriages, masses for the dead. Marriages, masses for the dead. What's that about? What does that mean? A lot of detail.
Happiness. It's not for happiness for everybody, for happy family. And then mark of happy life, I suppose.
Of a happy life. Anyone else have an opinion about that?
I think marks of life, in general.
In general, this is life. This is
life.
This is individual life. Let's watch baptisms, births, marriages, masses for the dead. And before we leave, we're almost out of time. I'd like someone who really loves Anna Akhmatova and reads her poetry to read the Russian. Would someone read the Russian? Who's a great lover of Anna Akhmatova? Oksana, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you read it in Russian so that you hear the beauty of this?
Умеем прощаться, мы плечом к плечу, не смеркаться, ключик и я молчу. Теперь пойдем, увидим, отпевает Кристины, не друг на друга выйдем. А чё так? Примяты на кладбище, легко вдохнем, и ты пойдешь в палаты, где всегда вдвоем.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Thank you. So let's see. Next week. Very nicely done. Next week we're going to read an American short story and apply a similar analysis to it. I think that you will enjoy it. Professor, do you have anything else for this morning? For the evening?
I love hearing about Anna Akhmatova, but I love her poetry, and it's wonderful to hear it in Russian, even though I don't know what it means. The musicality of the language comes through, and I look forward to look at some American writing with you now in this way. And I thought you did a really good job today, everyone. I did one comment about pronunciation. If you'll indulge me, it's a small thing. And to make the difference between, and this is the important one, is bears and beers. Beers. Don't drink bears. And eat beers. So it's saying, but it's that's how this story comes. The Three Bears story comes out. And in English, the bears, and I love it that they have names here. The other
English,
is the human.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears. In English, it's called Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Three Bears. All right, thank you very much. Where's Yvonne this week? Do we know? Where
Thank you.
we'll tell him that we missed him and we look forward to having him back next week. Prощаемся.
Goodbye.
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 Bye, thank you.
Оставь задумчивый после Ахматовой.
All right.
Goodbye. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Have a nice day.
Thank you.
And, I'll put a note for you in the chat.